The story of Stoop is legend, passed down from grade to grade for over 6 years. And our own Gerald is the keeper of the tale. Go ahead, Gerald. Tell it.
The legend of Stoop here.
It's like, because people, if you say Harlem, people know where you're talking about.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with you. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Dingus and the Stoopcast. I'm your fellow Dingus. I'm your resident Dingus, the head Dingus. Dr. PhD, otherwise known as Pat Haley. Joining me today on my stoop is going to be my other fellow Dingus. This is Shane. You can call him Guttural Bus. If you know him on Xbox Live, you'll know him as Poopsie Whoopsie. I had to throw it in there.
I know.
But yeah, this is my good friend Poopsie Whoopsie. And I don't know if I'm going to have an intro to this or not. I'm going to do the intro after I make this podcast. But if you don't know what this podcast is going to be about, it's like every time you've ever just sat on your porch or on your stoop or just like hung outside with some friends talking about nothing and just, having a good time. So that's what this is. And so one thing I was thinking about on one of my walks home from work a while ago was I finally decided what my favorite flavor in the world is. You ever think about that?
Favorite flavor?
Just
that's actually a really good question. That's a really good question. Because I've realized I don't think I've ever thought of my favorite flavor. I know that for certain things, I have a favorite flavor. Like I have a favorite ice cream. I have a favorite cookie. I have a favorite, like for different things, I like a certain flavor. Favorite way I cook chicken or get chicken, but I don't think I've ever thought what my favorite. What out of those top flavors, which one reigns supreme. Mm-hmm. I don't think I've ever thought of that. What's yours?
I think I finally boiled it down to what mine is. I love blue raspberry. I think blue raspberry anything is delicious. Well, really just raspberry. Because Turkey Hill came out with a new raspberry lemonade. It's so good. It's just sugar in a bottle, but it's the most delicious thing I've had in my entire life.
Yeah, it's
and
just
it made
sugar.
me think. Well, yeah, but it made me think of because raspberry. I thought of blue raspberry Jolly Ranchers. I was like, those are just incredible.
Those are good. I think those are number 2 for Jolly Ranchers.
Number 2. Well, are you going to talk about the watermelon Jolly Ranchers?
It's not watermelon.
I love watermelon.
Watermelon's up there in the top Jolly Ranchers,
What
but
are you
it's
going to say?
green apple.
Green
apple is absolutely the best Jolly Ranchers flavor. If I'm going for a Jolly Rancher, I'm going for those first.
Absolutely not. You've always got to go with blue raspberry. Shout out to my girl Liv Morgan in WWE.
No, you absolutely. Green apple is such a better flavor with it.
Absolutely not. No, I don't like sucking on something that's sour. That's why I'm not a big fan of Warheads. Like I like sour to happen and then have it be over. So I don't want to deal with green apple because that's always just a sour candy.
See, I
no
like
matter
the sour,
what candy it is.
I like the sour to a degree. I don't like certain sours where it's reds, like that cinnamon sour, like those that has too much of an overpowering taste with it. Those ones don't do it for me. But that slight sour where with the apple is just a good combination where it just makes a great flavor with almost no matter what like you put it in. Especially candy wise.
I just don't know if I can believe that. Like, I don't know. It's funny you mentioned Reds, though. I was just thinking about when, I don't know if you remember this, but in like 7th or 8th grade, I got approached by a few kids, and they were like, Pat, do you want to do the Big Red Challenge? And I was like, what the fuck is the Big Red Challenge? I was like, something with a penis? That doesn't sound right. I don't know. I was a weird kid in 7th grade. I still am, but
No, you
like I was
still
a
are.
really weird
Well, now
kid.
you're not
in
a weird
7th grade.
kid.
I'm
You're a weird adult.
ugh.
Although, I
Adult-
think that would be weirder if you were who you are now, but you're still a weird kid. It's like,
Yeah.
all right, well, you've grown up, but you haven't grown up, and
Yeah.
you're still the same.
Well, it's like adult with an implied question mark next to it. Like you don't mention the question mark,
It's
but
with
you
the
know it's there.
it's with the intro bang.
Yeah, it's with the intro bang. My new favorite piece of punctuation. Look it up.
It's great.
No, but the Big Red Challenge was when you take the wrapper to a piece of Big Red gum, you lick it, and then you slap it onto your arm and let it stay there and dry. Because what happens is it ends up like heating up or something, but whatever's on that wrapper ends up burning your skin. And so people were
never heard of
burning
this.
themselves with Big Red. This may just be like a legend because I never did it, and like I've only seen people with like burns all over their arms, and I was like,
But you never saw how they got the burns, but you
Yeah.
just heard that's how.
that's what they said they did, and I was like,
I'm not about to do
what the fuck
that.
is wrong with you? I was like, I'm not about to burn myself. It always made me think of Fight Club with the soap and what's the other thing?
In the sock.
No, not the sock. Where
Oh,
they
no, that's
don't they have like acid that they pour on their hand and then they like put the soap onto it?
I honestly don't remember.
I haven't watched Fortnite. I haven't watched Fight Club in a long time. I haven't played Fortnite in a long time. It was weird when you were playing it earlier today, just because I was like, I don't play this game. I don't like Fortnite. I stopped liking Fortnite a while ago, but you know that.
We've talked about it before.
Yeah.
It's a good game to play when you're with friends.
Yeah.
When you have multiple people to play it with. If you're doing it by yourself, it's just going to be a annoying, frustrating game unless you're amazing at it.
Yeah.
But it's better when you got like friends to just kind of fuck around with.
Yeah, and well, you know my opinion on it, and I am going to do a video on that whole thing, so either it's out by the time this is out now, or it's going to come out eventually. There's going to be a video at some point about, my opinion about Fortnite, but that's for a later time. But it was just weird, like, watching you play it, because, I haven't played it for a while. That's like nostalgia from like 3 weeks ago. We had a pretty nostalgic night.
We did.
Yeah, I
We
drove
did.
around where we went to high school. And
Just like even the neighborhood and all that.
Yeah.
Like, especially for me, it was very nostalgic because I don't live around here anymore. I'm up at school. I'm up at Wilkes. Like, so it's like very like nice kind of going back and seeing like the neighborhood I grew up in, the neighborhood I remember being around, and it's just like,
well, it was just like a weird experience.
Oh, it was definitely
just because it's like things changed, but they're the same.
Yeah,
and it's so weird.
It's interesting seeing the mixture between that, where you have one place that like has not changed since 50 years before we were even born, and then you got places that are just completely brand new, like within like a year old. It's just like, huh.
Yeah, we drove back past the house that I grew up in, and the house was completely different, and that was so weird.
Like that's like the exact thing. Like, there are certain houses like on that block and in that area that are just like, this hasn't changed since we were kids. And then there's houses like that, your old house, that's very different from how I remember it too, and I can only imagine for you too.
Yeah, it was just, I don't know, but it was just like a weird night, especially like driving past the high school though, because it's just like, what was high school? That was a really weird trip.
Yeah.
Just because like, we already talked about this, but like, I had such a like weird and kind of unpleasant time in high school, and I know a lot of people are always like, oh, I love my high school year. It's like, I don't know if I can necessarily agree with that. Just because like that wasn't the experience that I had.
I gotcha.
But I know you had a different experience.
Yeah.
And that's cool. I like when people have a good time in high school. I like when people have a good time in general.
Same. I'm always happy when like like going through Facebook, going through Instagram, seeing like people just around, like when I'm just like around, like seeing people walking and everything like that. And I see where like the other day was a perfect example. I was driving home from work, and I was just driving down a side street, and there was this kid, and he jumped up and slapped one of like the low hanging leaves, and he just kind of like did like that little like walk you do after you jump up and do that. And I'm just like, you're having a good time right now.
Yeah.
I like it. Like I would do the exact same thing and just be happy with it. Is there any point with it? No. Is there any like thing?
No, you're
like
a champion at that point.
It's, but it's like
yes, I hit
but
that
it's like
leaf
that where
so
it's just
good.
like yeah, this guy's just having a good time. I like it.
No, yeah, I can agree with that. I think it's funny though. You talk about seeing people from high school on like Facebook and stuff like that. There are plenty of people that if you didn't know, I probably have some of you just unfollowed on Facebook because some of you just post a lot, and that's annoying. And some of you have very extreme opinions, and I just don't want to see that. So, yeah, I mean, it's not that I'm not trying to keep in contact with you. It's just like, stop. Do you ever have people like that you see on Facebook, and you're just like, why do you gotta talk so much?
No, I absolutely have that where it's like, why did you post that? Why is that a necessary thing to post out and to, like have the public like have? Why is that what they need to see? Like and with certain viewpoints, it's like you're getting too radical, and like you start seeing how much it's less that they like their side, it's more that they hate the other side.
Yeah, well, that's what
because
you get a lot of.
It gets to too much of that, where it gets to less of, hey, these are my thoughts. It's, hey, these are my thoughts on why I hate these people.
Yeah, well, it's like, I mean, we grew up in an area that's pretty diverse. I like to think, and that means we also have a lot of people on our Facebook that have a bunch of diverse opinions.
Yes.
And some of those opinions are very strong. And my only problem with that is when you post something about an opinion that's very strong, there's always going to be people that are going to go, hey, I don't agree with you, but they're going to say it way meaner, and then fights happen all the time.
Yeah. When you post something on a public place, when you put your opinion out there for people to see and for anybody to see, it's you're gonna get both viewpoints. You're gonna get the strong left. You're gonna get the strong right. You're gonna get black. You're gonna get white when there's gray. But people are only gonna be focused on the black and white and not the gray.
Well, I mean that's why like I don't have as much of a presence on Facebook as I do on most things. I don't think I have like too much of a presence on a lot of stuff, but
that's a reason. But I know that's the reason, not the reason why I necessarily don't post anything.
But like on Facebook, I feel like so many people just talk so much on Facebook that it's just like, I don't know if you think that you're changing people's minds or if you're just doing this because you're keeping track of it or whatever. It's really bizarre of how much some people... You're laughing at the dog?
Yep.
Dude, he's always making noise.
He had like a little grumble.
Thank God. I'm glad you're talking about the dog now. I wanted to get off political stuff. Not because I don't want to talk about politics. It's just like, it's always divisive, so...
Yeah.
This dog, he's so funny. He lays down, and I can tell when he wants me to like pay attention to him, because he'll lay down. I'll be like, and I'm just like, you're making an awful lot of noise right now. I know you want something.
He's
Biggest
like the person
baby in the world.
He's like the person that pretends to fake, but then has one eye open, like looking around, and then closes it.
Yeah.
Shout out Kevin Hart's grandma.
Mm-hmm. Well, he always wants to have someone paying attention to him, which is why he's always like in your face, or I guess crotch, because he's at crotch level. But like he's such a baby about some stuff. we were driving around today and we heard one firecracker that is not really very close to my house. And I go, oh, that's going to scare my dog. Because that is something that would legitimately, like, terrify him for the rest of the night. He's such a baby. He would get shakes and he would, like, only hide in, like, the back of my basement. Because he's like, it's safe back here because no one goes here.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate seeing him like that. It's like, oh no, but it's okay. It's just a little thing. It's like there's no need to be scared, but it's.
I feel bad. I feel bad when animals get like anxiety because I'm like, oh no, you're like me.
It's like it's okay. It's just this little thing.
Yeah, I think it's funny. That's how we should. Oh no.
What? No, say it.
That's how we should cure all of anxiety and depression. We should talk to those people like they're sad dogs.
Nah. That is no.
Why?
Why? Do you really have to ask why? Like,
well,
you can't see how a person is different than a dog.
Well, I know they're a person. I'm just saying, when I talk to my dog and he's feeling anxious, and I talk to him like I talk to a dog, then he feels like a little less not anxious. So if that works for him, then...
Because he's also a dog.
We're all species of some kind.
I see you did have high school biology.
Yeah, see? I have general knowledge of most things. So... Generally, it should work the same.
Generally, yeah.
Have I ever told you what my
just a huge blanket statement?
Did I tell you what my 9th grade science fair project was?
Probably.
Oh my god,
what was
so
it?
Great. Well, so we had to do something biology related. Obviously, that was the class we took. But the thing I choose to do my whole PowerPoint and presentation on was the idea of trying to teach a dog how to talk, and this is in quotes, like Brian from Family Guy.
Okay, I got my first question, then I have a few follow-up questions.
Okay.
First one. What grade did you get on this project?
I think I got a C. And the reason it ended up being a C was because I did it really late. And the presentation was super sloppy because I had to have a voiceover on top of it.
I got you.
But
okay, then follow-up question. So if the sloppy, so how was the actual report taken?
Oh.
And also, what exactly was it? So how did you try to explain to teach dogs how to speak like Brian Griffin?
Okay, so here was my scientific method.
The hypothesis. What's your hypothesis?
Well,
how did you test that hypothesis?
I didn't test it. I didn't test any of this.
How did you say you were going to test it?
So what I said I was going to do is... The theory is that the way humans learn how to talk is that they're babies and we just talk a whole bunch around them and then they kind of get it. So,
I seriously am starting to really believe you do not know what the difference between a dog and a human is, because this is the second time you're like, well, if humans can be like, well, if this works for dogs, it should work for humans. Well, if it works for humans, it should work for dogs, because we're all species. Doesn't matter that we're different species. We're the same. We're species. So,
well, so the idea was we would take a dog right away, right after it was born, and then just talk to it a whole bunch.
We do that already.
No, but like a lot. So what we would do is we would be like, paw, and then we would like touch their paw, and then they would be like, okay, paw. And then we would say it so much that they would grow different vocal cords.
Okay, because you're saying a thing that already exists. You train a dog that this means paw, that this means sit.
I know.
Where you're able to get them to learn a few words and a few phrases. But you're expecting that to develop their vocal cords so that they can say it back to us.
Well, so the idea,
Okay.
if you're gonna let me finish, the idea is is that the first dog would only know paw, and then at the end of its life is when it would just be able to say paw a whole bunch. And then we would go, okay, so that one now knows paw.
So his kids should know paw because that but that's again how it works for humans too.
That is.
Your parents know fire, and you're born. You're like, I know fire.
Mm-hmm. And that's why you don't go near the fire when you're a baby. There's science there.
There is.
They're a species, I'm a species.
There's science there, but the science there is saying, hey, a plant cell has chloroplast.
Mm-hmm.
There's science there, so plants should know how to speak.
No.
Yeah, there's science there. Plant cells have cell walls. There's science there. Mm-hmm. Now, they're a living thing. We're a living thing. This one should be able to know how to salsa.
Well, no. It would be something like they have cell walls and we don't. So if we hang out in the sun for a while and only drink water and breathe carbon dioxide, then we could grow part plant. Because evolution would then take over and go, okay, he's breathing a whole lot of carbon dioxide. We shouldn't let that happen. So what we're going to do is we're going to make him be able to take the carbon dioxide and make that just regular oxygen.
I want to know the time frame. What's your time frame in this?
So it would start, like, if we were to start it today, the end of the first experiment to really see if it worked would be about 1,000 years from now.
You are way too short. You are way too short.
No, because we have so much technology now that eventually we're going to be able to speed up the process.
So
it's not that my idea is wrong. It's that technology hasn't gotten there yet.
Well, then that's not evolution. That's not. You're taking natural.
If I cut off my arm and then give myself a robot arm, I'm evolving into a cyborg.
I'm evolving. Oh my god. I think this podcast should be renamed. Pat doesn't know shit. Whoa.
I have general knowledge of all things.
I'm starting to question that. I'm giving myself a robot arm, so I'm evolving.
Well, I feel like that's kind of how it works in like Pokemon.
Oh my god.
No,
so these are your scientific sources, Pokemon.
Well, yeah. What's not scientific about Pokemon?
Pokemon.
The whole idea of the first generation is that they're all science experiments gone wrong.
Is that actually it?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
I thought it was just that it was
I mean, that's...
It was just animals that...
No, it's like animals that got experimented on to have these abilities.
Oh, no, I actually did not know that.
Yeah. Well, that's like the creepypasta kind of...
That's one of the theories. That's not something that's necessary. It's come out and said that.
It's not like that's
not
a real
canon.
thing. Pretty much, yeah.
But like people look at like Mewtwo, where it's like that was...
Well, yeah. It's like Mewtwo
experiment.
and Porygon and like all that. But that's why like you can trade Pokemon and they will evolve. It's because it's through technology. I don't know.
Like
I'm not.
I see what you're saying.
I can't get too in depth to it because it's so much science. I don't think you would understand it. No, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what the theory is for Pokemon, at least.
At least a little bit of it. I got you.
Yeah. See, you learn something new every day. I have general knowledge of all things.
I learned Pokemon might have been started because of science experiments. I learned that Pat doesn't know what evolution is and the difference between a dog and a human.
I know the difference between a dog and a human. They walk around like this.
You do know that we're on a podcast.
Yeah.
They can't see what you're doing.
It's okay. There's going to be subtitles at the bottom that says put his hands out in front of him like he's walking on
I thought
all fours.
the subtitles would be like this.
That's funnier. I'm going to go back in the edit and I'm going to take out
You're gonna take out everything
that I just said, and now I gotta say, like this, and then I'm gonna use that part.
Yeah, but now you're gonna have to recut because now you just said I'm gonna use that part.
Well, yeah, that's duh. I'm gonna take all this part out too.
Yeah, we're just now we're just making stuff for no one.
You're making a good point here. Maybe you're a scientist after all. Have you seen the new Pokemon stuff though for Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee?
I have not.
Or I Choose You? I don't know what it is. The new Pokemon game.
The most recent Pokemon I saw was over the summer I downloaded Pokemon Quest.
Oh yeah, I heard that was a thing.
It entertained me for a little bit, but it just didn't have enough to keep me going back to it. There's times where I'm like, yeah, maybe I'll play this, but then it didn't have enough to draw me in to get me to stay. Yeah. It seemed like it was well done too, where it wasn't you didn't need to pay in order to play.
Right.
Like you could do it. It would definitely be a lot easier and could help you with a bunch of stuff if you did pay.
Right.
But I'm a person especially with mobile games where I'm not big on pay to play.
No, yeah, I understand that. But the new one that they're coming out with, I think at the end of the year, for the Switch is I think it's Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, but it's the original region, the Kanto region, but it's a 3D world, so you get to control like your character, and you start with either Pikachu or Eevee, and they run around behind you the whole time. But the way you play is with the Switch Joy-Cons, and so you run around with the one stick and press the buttons for, whatever the buttons would be on Game Boy. But what you can do is someone else can join into the game, and they can play with you.
Oh, I think I remember hearing about this.
So they can run around, and then the cool thing about catching Pokemon is you do it like in Pokemon Go, where
so you're going to be using the Joy-Con.
Like flick, but you use the Joy-Con to throw the ball, which is pretty neat, I think.
I like that. I'm sure they'll get like the rumbling in the controller too, so you feel like you have it.
Mm-hmm. So I think it's gonna be a pretty neat game.
Yeah.
Which is pretty funny. We ended up making this whole podcast about like nostalgia stuff. If you think about it, because Pokemon, it's in the Kanto region with the same old Pokemon.
Yeah, that was actually something with this.
Which is like super popular in marketing. Not to cut you off, but like
what to just go back to stuff people remember.
Well, right now in this age, it's like what's something that people liked back in the day that we can just do again.
Yeah,
nostalgia's super hot right now.
Oh, it sells.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
sex.
But now nostalgic sex.
So here's the best way to make.
Remember that time you didn't have sex?
A hit movie. What's something that you love? Nostalgia, which means you love old things.
I know how your logic goes.
We already decided that nostalgia sells, so old things sell, and sex sells. So the best thing you can add in any movie to make it a hit seller is to put in just somewhere in the movie 2 old people having sex. It's gonna make the movie so much more profitable. I guarantee it. Filmmakers out there, you're allowed to, I'm gonna give you permission to use my idea. I think this is where I want to wrap it up a little bit.
Finish on old people having sex.
Yeah.
Boom. Done. Podcast over.
Where else am I gonna go from there? How else do I go up? How else do I go up? This is gonna be the first and the last podcast. But no, I think this is where I'm gonna leave it. I've been Dr. PhD. Follow me on all social media. It's gonna be at Dr. PhD, DOCTER PhD. That's Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. This has been my fellow Dingus here on my stoop.
Yep, it's been a great time.
Yeah, I was hoping you were gonna say your name, but that's okay too. It's been Shane, Guttural Bus. Like I said, you can find him on Xbox. If you don't want me to say this, I'll bleep it out.
I died.
Poopsie Whoopsie. His name on Xbox is Poopsie Whoopsie. But yeah, do you think I can make this in the recycling bin from here?
Nah, you're gonna hit something.
Let's see.
Nah, you made it.
Made it. That's where we're gonna end it off, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. I hope to see you again.